What caused the contraction in the quarter, or even the worse than expected contraction? Was it just all about cars?
It's not all about cars, but the main effect is really the lack of the industry dealing in time with adjusting to these new emissions testing standards. And that's a pretty big mistake, so I don't know how that could happen. But there are two other factors. One is we've been using a capacity more than there's excess capacity usage, overutilization of capacity in Germany, and that means the economy has to come down, growth has to come down. So it's somewhat normal that we come down in terms of growth towards 1.5%, which is our estimate of potential growth. And the third factor is really, this shows you how sensitive the German economy is to the car industry, to the manufacturing industry, and how they do. It also shows how sensitive it is to exports. And we had this protectionist wave coming from the US, coming from President Trump, and that has been affecting Germany too. Now, fortunately, for now, that has been stopped. Now the focus is more on US trade with China, and that may have some positive diversionary effects, but in general, those three things are really what's affecting the German economy.
So are we going to then bounce back to a more normalized rate in the in the coming quarters, 1%, more than 1%, as Volkswagen and BMW figure out ways to continue selling their products here in Germany? Yeah,
I think it depends. The fourth quarter may still be affected by that, but our estimate from our council for next year is about 1.5% growth per year, which would be more or less potential.
And then the trade factors, how hard are they hitting the German economy directly? We hear all the talk about auto tariffs that doesn't come to fruition. Yeah. Fortunately for now, there are the steel metals tariffs that we saw happen. And then, of course, there's Brexit uncertainty that must cloud business operatives' future forecasts. So what do you expect from the trade?
Well, the overall volume of the measures in the US has not been that large. So that's not a big effect by itself. But there's been a lot of uncertainty about what comes, and the uncertainty has an effect by itself on the economy, on plans. And German manufacturing, German car industry, these are luxury cars, and this is big manufacturing lines for companies abroad. So how much they order depends very much on the future outlook, and so the uncertainty has an effect on that. And so that's why I think it's not negligible at all. It's quite an issue. And if you think of Brexit, there's a lot of uncertainty. If it comes to a hard Brexit, right, which is not at all out of the picture, that would have a big effect on the UK, in my view, but certainly also a significant or noticeable effect on the German economy.
How do you view the deal? I'm sure you haven't gone through all 580 pages or so, but how do you view the deal that Theresa May has put together with the EU now? Does it make sense to you to have this sort of customs union arrangement, a transition period that can go on indefinitely?
Well, certainly, if you think of it, the biggest danger right now is a hard Brexit without any agreement. That could have quite a disruptive effect. So I'm very glad, and I didn't expect this necessarily, I'm very glad that they got an agreement which can be put to the vote, and so that's good. The details, as you said, is a lot of pages, and there are a lot of special issues, such as the backstop and how it's seen in Ireland or in Northern Ireland or in the UK. So, from a German perspective, it's hard to form a view. It's up to Britain on what they want, but I think it's important to avoid this hard Brexit. And so I'm glad she can offer a deal. My personal view, of course, is that it's really sad to see Britain leave. I think that's very bad for all of us. And so I wish there would be a way to avoid that still. In any case, in terms of extensions, I think it's important to leave enough time, and maybe more than that's currently planned. If the deal is accepted, if they go forth or with a variant of that, there should certainly be enough time given to negotiate a very expansive free trade agreement, because it's important that the negative impact of all that is minimized.
Let me just bring it back for my final question to Berlin here. If there were levers that you were able to pull to help this economy grow in a sustainable way, what would your top choices be? Is tax policy something that needs to get fixed here? Is digitalization an issue? Is it migration? What do you think the main things are that this government needs to work on?
there are several issues. I mean, one big thing is the demographic challenge. You can't change demography. You can have immigration, but we've had massive immigration into work, but it's not likely to continue in that same way. So we have to prepare Germany for this demographic change, and that means actually a more sensible retirement system, pension system.
Demographic change, you mean because we have a lot more old people and not as many young people?
Right. We have actually more and more people will go into retirement. There's a bit of a break now for a few years, but after 25, you will see the people working versus the people in retirement. That ratio, I mean, how many more in retirement is going to be getting worse and worse. And so we have to adjust for that. For example, work longer, adjust retirement age to life expectancy. We have to keep the economy competitive, so I think definitely a tax reduction should be on the table. I think the government has been pushing in the wrong direction. They've been making it worse in some aspects. And then also being more ready to accept the advantages we can get, the new opportunities from digitalization. There is a lot of readiness and also effectiveness in industry in terms of use of robotics and all that. Mm-hmm. But in the wider population, if you think of the new big companies, Amazon, Apple, Google, all that's in the US. And it's very hard to grow a small startup to such a big company in Germany. And we have to change that.